Check 1, 2, can you hear me? I can speak from Suffolk County. I was in Central Islip. And it was a little after what Keith's talking about, maybe like 76, 77, 78. But we had, just like the Bronx had Cold Crush and those groups before, and Flash Stone before there was the recorded record, we had groups like that in Suffolk County. We had, especially Central Islip, we had Midnight Express. And these are sound system crews, like you said. Unlimited Power. And of course, the name dictates they had unlimited power. They had sound system. And Double Explosion. Those were the groups that I was getting, that I was seeing every day. Like everyone in the Bronx and the city was seeing Cold Crush and Flash and all that, and that's what we had in Suffolk County. So we had, and as Keith said a little bit, we had more backyard parties and park parties, and you know what I'm saying? It was that kind of scene. Sometimes we blocked 2 streets off and have a block party. Like that was our scene then. So it was always, even though Long Island didn't get the respect, because moving forward to when I came out, the reason we did Strong Island is because you literally had to be from the 5 boroughs to get respect, to be respected as far as hip hop was concerned. Like if you weren't one of the 5 boroughs, you kind of wasn't even taken serious. Public Enemy, where we got the term from, Strong Island, where I got a Island, and Rakim said, rough enough to break New York from Long Island. But outside of that, so there was people that didn't know Public Enemy and Rakim were from Long Island. They just assumed they was from the city. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until we actually made the record Strong Island that had kind of the impact that KRS and them did when they did South Bronx, and Shan did when he did Queensbridge, and the 100,000 people who made records about Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It gave our region, pride. Everybody, pride. But I do have to give it, I didn't come up with the phrase, I got it from Public Enemy. And I always want to give that, I always have to say that. I got it from Public, I sampled Chuck's voice. And Chuck, we was worried that.
So you always on royalty?
So the cool thing about that was, so we was wondering how they would react, and the next album they come out, Chuck, and his thank you, so the back says thank you, and then we go down and said JDC, Strong Island 4. I was impressed that he thanked us. We sampled him. Nobody knew us, everybody knew Public Enemy, so I was like, that's how they was. And Chuck has always been the type of person that he would bring up our name in interviews that had nothing to do. They would ask Chuck, so what are you upset about today? And he would talk about something, all of a sudden go into a rant about, I'm upset groups like JDC Force don't get the attention they deserve. And I'm like, wow, and he's talking to like an MTV or something. Like, places that we're not even on, you know what I mean? So I owe a lot to them. And I also want to shout Keith in about Long Island. I said this in the interview. Long Island has been an important region in hip hop and has had influence throughout hip hop. And one classic example, so NWA is on tour with EPMD. Ice Cube's on the bus with Parrish and Eric. Parrish is telling him, you're writing gold platinum records and you're not making no money. We're going gold, we got houses and cars and stuff. And it's why Ice Cube started thinking about his business and realized he wasn't making money, which led him to leave the group and form his own. And where did he go? To Keith and him, to the Bomb Squad, to create that album. So Long Island it was very important in his going in a whole solo trajectory that Ice Cube took. So
you know that was an accident, right?
Well, I know. Bottom line, it happened though. Yeah. So I want to give y'all credit though, and there's a lot of stories about Long Island, how Long Island has influenced hip hop, throughout the nation.
I would like to add why that influences ever since the 70s and on. You were speaking